Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies as we continue with Part 2, Introduction, The Lost Word, Its Hidden Meaning, by George H. Steinmetz. Chapter 1, Introduction. In comparison with the antiquity of the languages of the Orient, the English tongue is young and lacking sufficient vocabulary adequate to express metaphysical concepts. The same difficulty in clearly expressing themselves is encountered by most writers. Using English as the vehicle, when discussing these subjects, the Orthodox Christian, thinking of most Western peoples in general and English-speaking peoples in particular, also contributes to the difficulty. Their basic understandings of the words necessarily employed is so rooted in their orthodox associations that the subtle changes in their meaning are not readily accepted by the mind. There being no equivalent in the English language for many Oriental metaphysical terms presents yet another obstacle. The definition of certain common words and expressions which will be used in this book becomes essential, as they will not be employed to convey the same meaning attributed to them in everyday use. Body pertains to the physical body of man. Intuition, that which is known without the aid of any of the senses or usual intellectual processes. Material, that which is discernible to the perception by one or more of the senses. Physical pertains to the physical body of man and to the things physical. Physical man, the animal man, the animated body without reference to the self-consciousness of the individual. Psychic man, the psychic man to whom has been added intellect and self-consciousness. Self, the physical or mental man, not the body, but that to which one refers when he says I. Self-consciousness, the ability to be conscious of self, as distinguished from mere consciousness of existence or simple consciousness as exhibited in the animal kingdom. Awareness of something within oneself, the totality of conscious states. Soul, the psyche, strictly pertains to the mental and not to be confused with spirit, which is not synonymous and cannot be correctly used interchangeably with soul, as is done by Orthodox Christianity. Spirit, when used in connection with man, the immortal something, which is life itself. Spirit, when used in connection with deity, the same something, which is as close to definition as finite mind can come when used to refer to a state or plane of being, that state or plane of existence, above, not directional but qualitative, both the physical and psychic planes. Spiritual man, he who has attained cosmic consciousness. Spiritual consciousness, or the lost word, whether within or without the physical body. God. Mention God before 100 persons and 100 gods that instant are created. Each one hearing the word immediately interprets it according to his concept of God, and each such concept is different. To quote from the great source of wisdom, the Bhagavad Gita, each man's God, his conception of deity, is himself at his best, magnified by infinity. Used here reluctantly, for want of better short descriptive word, God will be understood to mean that supreme impersonal intelligence, which we credit with being the direct force of the universe. In Freemasonry, this handicap is practically overcome for us by the descriptive phrase, Supreme Architect of the Universe. Analysis of the words Supreme and Architect in their full implication reveals the comprehensiveness of this description, insofar as the finite mind can attain an understanding of the infinite. Occult philosophy conceives man as a spiritual creation of the deity, composed of material, the physical body, the cyclical, the self-conscious mind, and the spiritual, the living something, the spark, immortal man, the God within. Material science postulates man as a part of the general creation, having evolved to his present self-conscious form from a lower form of life. The Hebrew Christian Bible is in accord with the ancient philosophy from which it derives, in claiming man to be a special creation. The Bible is not at variance with ancient teaching when properly understood, but is an abridged edition of that philosophy. It does not resort to the lengthy detail of some of the Eastern sacred books, but it in no wise contradicts those details. Orthodoxy, it is true, has confused soul and spirit, thereby making man, in effect, twofold, but the Bible notwithstanding refers to the threefold man composed of body, soul, and spirit. The study of Masonry necessarily compels a study and understanding of the Bible, for none can question its importance in the Masonic Lodge. The declaration is made that the Holy Bible is the great light of Masonry, and Masonry's initiates are admonished to, with reverence, study and obey the laws which thou hast given us in thy holy word. Freemasonry proclaims, the Holy Bible is given us as the rule and guide of our faith and practice, and solemnity informs its candidates that the Bible is dedicated to God because it is his inestimable gift to man, and that, so we endeavor to erect our spiritual building in accordance with the designs laid down by the supreme architect of the universe in the great book of nature and revelation, which is our spiritual, moral, and Masonic trestle board. Lest any misunderstanding arise in the mind of the reader because of those repeated references to the Holy Bible, it should be noted that substitution of the Holy Bible for the volume of the Sacred Law is a modern adaptation of the English-speaking lodge. Obviously, any sacred book is meant for any jurisdictions using the term Holy Bible. Recognized jurisdictions where the Quran, Hebrew Bible, Old Testament only, or the Vedas are regarded as the sacred volume. Certain conclusions must be reached by the Mason who devotes even a little serious thought to the prominent position of the Bible in Masonry. The repeated admonitions to study this book, not just to read it. The fact that it is declared to be the great light and the rule and guide of one's faith and practice indicates an importance far beyond its moral and ethical teachings. Were moral and ethical enlightenment its only merit to the Freemason, he need not study it. The entire worth of the Bible as a guide to morals and ethics is contained in the Decalogue, the 11th commandment, love thy neighbor as thyself, and the golden rule, and as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. These could have easily been incorporated into the Masonic ritual, saving the initiate the labor of seeking them out for himself. For what more can one learn of morals and ethics throughout the whole of the Bible, and what more is taught of them throughout the whole of Masonry? Logically, it must be concluded that the Mason is expected to discover something in the Bible which far transcends this moral and ethical teaching. Great as it may be, that Masonry has a specific purpose in view in its admonitions to study with reverence that book which is the Mason's spiritual as well as moral and Masonic trestle board. Taken in conjunction with the instruction to the entered apprentice to ask, seek, and knock, together with the statement that all the light of Masonry cannot be conferred in a lodge of master masons, a discovery is made. That discovery is that one must ask and seek within the Bible where he shall attain to the light, which cannot be conferred in the lodge. Therein is discovered that something which it is intended shall be discovered. The truth of man himself, the reason for his existence, his ultimate goal and instructions for attaining it. The Bible verifies, confirms, and collaborates, the truths of which Masonry informs in its degrees. It is, in fact, the key to the secret doctrine of Freemasonry, that doctrine which is not contained in the lectures nor elucidated in the ritual, that doctrine which is hidden behind a veil of allegory in the very lectures so fatuously referred to as the Secrets of Masonry, a sublime doctrine which in truth is illustrated by symbols, by the symbols of Masonry, but not by the commonplace interpretation of those symbols given in the lodge. These interpretations actually lead one away from the truth purposely, as the mother bird, simulating a broken wing, flutters away before the intruder and leads him away from her hidden brood. Masonry casts no pearls before the swan. These secrets are too valuable to offer to anyone cheaply. The first degree of Freemasonry treats of the material and physical. The second degree deals with the psychical and mental. The third degree is the apex, the culmination of its teachings and wholly spiritual. This same teaching, dealing with the three planes of being upon and in which component man operates, is elucidated repetitiously throughout the Bible. It is there related historically. It is there related in allegory, whereby it is likewise veiled, and it is illustrated by symbols. It is revealed in a grand theme of which the entire Bible may be said to represent a cycle, and it is sealed in separate accounts, which may be termed cycles within a cycle. While apparently repetitious, each different account brings out some phase not covered by the other recitals, and like a spiral is found to be on a continuing higher plane. The grand theme may be described as the entire Old Testament, which is the first 2 degrees and the first section of the 3rd degree of Freemasonry. The New Testament is the 2nd section of the 3rd degree, the great moral lesson. Within the great cycle, the 3rd degrees are depicted again and again in lesser cycles, in various individual narratives. Probably the most enlightening exposition and the one most nearly paralleling the Masonic ritual is the story of the 3 patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which will be discussed in detail in a subsequent chapter. It is the purpose of this work to study the correlation and discover the allegory between the analogy and symbolism of Freemasonry and the allegory and symbolism of the Bible, as they support and enlarge on the Masonic philosophy. We shall discover the exposition of the material, cyclical, and spiritual in the Bible to be in harmony with the explanation as found in Masonry, and we shall shed light on the secret doctrine in Freemasonry, that it may be partially unveiled. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.